Could I ask everyone to take their seats, please, if you have a seat? I'd like to start the meeting. Could I ask everyone to take a seat or a wall? Thank you so much. I'd like to call the meeting of the Santa Clara City Council to order. If you'd please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for our statement of values. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can you grab it out of them?
As we gather, we humbly seek blessings upon this meeting. May we act with strength, courage, and will to perform our obligations and duties to our people with justice to all. Let us seek wisdom so that we may act in the best interest of our people, our neighbors, and our country. All this we ask so we may serve our community with fairness and respect, putting their needs before all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Roll call, City Clerk.
Councilmember Board Member Shahal.
Present.
Councilmember Board Member Hardy.
Present.
Councilmember Board Member Jane.
Here.
Councilmember Board Member Watanabe.
Here.
Mayor and Chair Gilmore.
Here.
Thank you. Oh, and just let the record reflect that Councilmember Board Member Park is not present at this time.
But on his way,
Yes.
I assume. Okay, very good.
The Statement of Behavioral Standards. The City of Santa Clara has adopted a code of ethics and values and behavioral standards for public meetings to promote and maintain the highest levels of conduct. This includes mutual respect, robust discussion, and allowing city business to be done in an efficient and consistent manner. Please note that as the presiding officer, the mayor's and chair's direction in matters of process and decorum should be followed, and the use of the gavel indicates all conversations must conclude, and everyone in attendance should come to order and attention. Welcome, and thank you for your participation.
All right, so good evening, everyone. For today's meeting, the council's back in person and is conducting its meeting in a hybrid manner. The public is welcome to attend in person, and the city continues to use a Zoom feature to allow participation from your home or office. Members of the public can still join via the link and/or call into the Zoom meeting phone number shown on the screen now. If you would like to speak on an agenda item or during public presentations, please raise your hand on the Zoom application or press *9 on your phone. Please only raise your hand while the item you're seeking to speak on is presented. Staff will enter your name or the last 4 digits of your phone number, and I will call on you to speak. As a friendly reminder, members of the public have 2 minutes to speak on an agenda item and 3 minutes on public presentations, and those are reserved for topics that are not on the agenda. Prior to each agenda item, staff will lower your hand to ensure that members of the public are seeking to speak on the appropriate agenda item. So we'll move on to the council agenda now. Reports of action taken in closed session. City Attorney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Council did meet in closed session on December 16th on 2 items involving existing litigation, Moonlight Associates LLC versus Santa Clara and Santa Clara versus Admiral Insurance et al. However, there was no reportable action.
Thank you. So we're moving to the item that we're all here for this evening, which is a general business item. Adopt a resolution declaring the results of the canvass of returns of the consolidated municipal general election held on November 5th, 2024, with the statewide presidential election. And online, you can see his face there. We have our city clerk, Hussam Haggag. I would like to hand this over to you, Hussam.
Thank you, Mayor Gilmore. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can. Loud and clear.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I'm halfway around the world. I'm really sad that I couldn't be here tonight. I know tonight is a very festive and joyous occasion, as it always is. But despite that, this is still I'm still the city clerk for not for long though. And I'm here to report the results of the elections. Um, and of course, I'll stick around with you all through the remainder of the ceremony, and then get back to my family who are out waiting for me. We have a report here for the the um, the results of the election, and this is for those who are maybe tuning in for the first time and hearing about this for the first time. This is pretty customary that it takes the registrar of voters about 30 days after the conclusion of the general election to count all the votes and make sure that everybody's vote and voice really is heard, and to certify that election. So this report is the confirmation of the certification of the count from the registrar of voters that was held for the election that happened on November 5th of this year for the statewide presidential election. As you all know, here in Santa Clara, we had several issues or items on the ballot. The election of our chief of police, the election of our city clerk, the elections of council members for districts 1, 4, 5, and 6. We also had Measure I on the ballot as well. So I will, in this report, I'll read out the results of each of those as certified by the registrar of voters, and then pass it back to the council for the adoption of the resolution to accept the certification from the registrar. So in the city of Santa Clara, the total number of ballots that were cast, the total number of registered voters in the city of Santa Clara is 60,094 voters. And the total number of ballots cast were 44,129 ballots, which reflects a 73.43% of turnout of voters in Santa Clara, which was a fairly good number. And it shows that our residents are highly engaged. And of course, we don't need the number to know that. We know that all of our residents in Santa Clara are very, very engaged. For the offices that were on the ballot, we had the chief of police, and we had two candidates, Corey Morgan and Mario Brazil. And Corey Morgan received 22,880 votes. Mario Brazil received 11,831 votes. 9,418 votes were not cast for that race. And so in the race for chief of police, Corey Morgan received 52% of all the registered voters, and he won that seat. So congratulations to Corey Morgan. I can hear the clapping, so I'll pause for the clapping. For the office of city clerk.
Wait,
we had four
Hassam, can I ask in the audience that we wait till the end of the presentation before clapping? We can do a giant clap at the end. Thank you. Go ahead, Hassam.
Thank you, Mayor Gilmore. Yeah, I can only hear very faintly the clapping that happened.
It was loud, yeah.
Yeah.
It was popular, yeah.
That's how I know it's loud, because you can't hear anything when you're on the Zoom.
Right.
Unless it's really loud. Yeah. For the office of city clerk, we had 4 candidates who ran. The candidates that ran with the votes that they received, Paul Tachi received 5,491 votes. Parmina Gopi received 9,953 votes. Steve Kelly received 9,415 votes. And Bob O'Keefe received 10,380 votes. And Bob O'Keefe received the most votes for the office of city clerk. And as Mayor Gilmore mentioned, please hold your claps till the end. For council member for District 1, we had 3 candidates who ran. Albert Gonzalez received 2,507 votes. Satish Sani Chandra received 2,012 votes. Harbir Bhatia received 1,348 votes. And the candidate that received the most votes in that race was Albert Gonzalez. For Councilmember District 4, we had 2 candidates who ran. Kevin Nara Park received 3,371 votes. Teresa O'Neill received 2,324 votes. And so Kevin Nara Park received the most votes in that race. For Councilmember of District 5, we had 2 candidates who ran there. Sudhanshu Suds Jain received 3,539 votes. and David Curtis received 3,010 votes. And so Suds Jane received the most votes in that contest. And finally, for council member of District 6, we had 3 candidates who ran for that seat. Kelly Cox received 4,040 votes. George Guerra received 1,834 votes. And Anthony Becker received 1,692 votes. And so Kelly Cox received the most votes in that contest. And finally, we had Measure I that was on the ballot. The title was to approve the issuance of general obligation bond. Now, for Measure I to pass, it is important to note that it was not a simple majority. This is an article in the California Constitution that requires that general obligation bonds must receive at least a 66.7%, so a 2/3 vote or greater of the votes cast for it to pass. So for Measure I, so it's not enough just to get greater than 50%. So for Measure I, you needed 66.7% or higher of the vote to pass. The yes votes for Measure I were 28,133 votes. The no votes for I was 12,399 votes. The yes votes received 69%, so it was higher than the required 66.7%. So Measure I also passes. So with all of those listed out, I guess now is as good a time as any, Mayor Gilmore, for a loud applause for all of the winners of the seats on the measure.
Thank you so much, City Clerk. So now I'm going to ask the council for a motion to approve and adopt this resolution.
So moved as per City Clerk recommendations and the staff recommendation.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Please register your vote. Let's make this official. And that passes unanimously with those present, and it's official. So congratulations to everyone. We can do it again. So next, we're going to start the recognition and remarks from our outgoing elected officials. So good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here this evening with us on this momentous occasion here at City Hall. And for those watching from home, thank you so much for joining us. We're all honored to have you here to recognize our outgoing elected officials for the official swearing-in ceremony of our newly elected officials. So first, I'd like to acknowledge several elected officials and commissioners who are with us this evening. And there's quite a few, so I'm going to ask, as I call your name, if you might stand or give us a wave so people can see who you are, and maybe we'll hold our applause till the end. So we're going to start, and I don't know if he's here yet, our new State Assembly member Patrick Ahrens, District 26. Is Patrick here? Are you Patrick? Okay. Okay, not yet though. Stay tuned. Okay. Santa Clara County Supervisor and Board President Susan Ellenberg is here, District 4. Yay. We have Yvonne Inciarte, yes. She's congressional staff representing Congressman Ro Khanna. And I'm going to do double on her right now. She's also one of our historical landmarks commissioners here in the city of Santa Clara. We have Elizabeth Vaca representing Senator Aisha Wahab. We have Tain Nguyen, Policy Aide representing County Supervisor Otto Lee, District 3. Here? No? San Jose City Council Member Sergio Jimenez, City of San Jose, District 2. San Jose City Council Member Bien Duan, City of San Jose, District 7. I know he's here. Sunnyvale Vice Mayor Murali Srinivasan. Hi, Murali. Hi. Welcome to Santa Clara. Yeah. I see you. Okay. Saratoga Mayor Yan Zhao. There she is. Yan. Los Altos Hills Council Member Linda Swan. Is Linda here? There she is. Thank you, Linda, for coming. Los Altos Hills Council Member-elect Rajiv Bhatia. Nice to see you. And we have 3 from Santa Clara Unified School District Board. We have Board President Vicki Fairchild. We have Board Member Jody Muirhead. Is Jody back there? And Board Member Michelle Ryan. Thank you all for joining us. We have Board of Trustees from the West Valley Mission Community College District, Carl Watanabe. That name sounds familiar. Okay. Our Santa Clara Cultural Commissioner, Luis Samara. There he is back there. And we have Andres Quintero from the Alum Rock School District. I thought I saw him here. Welcome. And then Srinivasan Manivanan, our Senior Advisory Commissioner, is back there. Thank you for coming. Is there anyone that I missed? Elected official, commissioner? Oh, Dana Caldwell, Parks and Recreation Commission. Thank you. All right, well, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it. So now we're going to start with the outgoing council and elected officials. We're going to recognize our police chief, Pat Nicolai, our outgoing police chief, Pat Nicolai. Police Chief Pat Nicolai has led the Santa Clara Police Department since April 2020. Chief Nicolai has committed to build community relationships with the Citizens Police Academy, National Night Out, Chiefs Advisory Committee, and the new BRAVE program for our 4th grade students, fostering trust and collaboration between our residents and law enforcement. Under his leadership, Santa Clara has enacted laws imposing fines on spectators of illegal street racing and sideshows, aiming to deter dangerous activities and promote safety. These efforts reflect Chief Nicolai's dedication to modernize the department, enhance public safety, and strengthening community ties in Santa Clara. So I now would like to invite Chief Nicolai to the podium to say a few words about his tenure. Chief Nicolai. Yeah, go ahead. Is that okay for the cameras?
I don't really care about the cameras. I have very few words to say. I just want to thank Chief Frank Vasquez for taking a chance on a young 23-year-old 33 years ago. I want to thank Mayor Gilmore and Councilmember Watanabe. They started me on this path to be chief about 8 years ago. I also want to thank my consigliere, Allison. She has been a lifelong friend to me and has provided me advice over the last 20 years, and I wouldn't be successful without her. I want to thank my good friend Ringo. I can't thank him enough. Most of all, I want to thank the love of my life, Tidra. She's been with me through this whole thick and thin, and I'm blessed to have her in my life. And finally, I want to thank all the Santa Clarans. You voted me into the office twice. You rejected the idea of changing the chief from appointed from elected. And then you voted for Corey Morgan, who is going to take the Santa Clara Police Department to new heights. And the men and women of the Santa Clara Police Department are honored to serve you day in and day out. And I was honored to lead them. Thank you.
Chief. Thank you. We have a plaque and a gift from the city, and it's, where is it? No, that's Senate.
Oh.
This is from the city council to you. And is this a gift for him too? Okay. And a gift that we'd like to present. Maybe we can do a quick picture. If someone's taking a picture. Anyone taking it? Here. And if there's any representatives, Senate representatives, congressional supervisors, please come forward. You can make your presentations to the chief.
I'm Susan Ellenberg. I'm the president of the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors. And on behalf of myself and my colleagues, it is my honor to commend you on a job expertly done. And I want to take this moment as well to extend real personal gratitude, in particular for the support that you provided for me when I was working to bring a guaranteed income pilot program to folks reentering our community after time spent in incarceration. And I was concerned that this was going to be extraordinarily controversial. But having both you and Sheriff Johnson say, this actually helps reduce recidivism, this helps enhance public safety, enabled me to pass that unanimously with my colleagues, and I'm deeply grateful for that support.
Yvonne, did you have something as well?
Well, I'm going to basically group them up together for all the outgoing electeds. It's an honor to be here. My name is Yvonne Inciarte. I am Senior Advisor for Legislative Outreach for Congressman Rocana, which we brought some congressional commendations to the outgoing electeds. And I just want to say congratulations to all of you, Kathy Watanabe, Pat Nikolai, Hossam Haggag, who's not here. But want to mention that, you know, we recognize this momentous occasion where, you know, your leadership in the community, and we want to make sure that, you know, thank you for your service, for serving our community, the city of Santa Clara, and on behalf of Congressman Rocana, we have the, we might as well take the photo here.
Yeah. Thank you, Yvonne.
Hi. I just want to say my name is Elizabeth Vaca. I'm here on behalf of State Senator Dr. Aisha Wahab, and just echo all the sentiments that we've already heard. Thank you for your 30-plus years of dedicated service to Santa Clara and all the residents of Santa Clara. And so on behalf of Senator Wahab, I have here a certificate of recognition from our office. Thank you so much for your service.
I think you can sit down now, Chief, or ex-chief. You're the ex-chief now.
Not yet.
Former. We're in between chiefs right now. Okay. Congratulations. All right. Next, we would like to recognize our outgoing city clerk, Hossam Haggag. City Clerk Haggag was the first Muslim American elected to the position of city clerk in the city of Santa Clara and has served our residents for 6 years. Clerk Hossam is joining us virtually this evening, as we heard from him. So if he's online, I would like to, there he is, ask him to say a few words. Hossam, welcome back.
Thanks. Man, Pat, you you gave such a short speech. You're going to make mine look like a really long one. I'm going to try to keep it short, though. And maybe if the music is loud enough. And you
I
play
have
me
a
off
mute
stage.
button, Hossam. I have a
There we
mute
go.
button, so be aware of that.
Yeah, but you know, I'm probably going to use this opportunity to make up for all the lost time that I didn't speak on the mic when I was clerk compared to before I was. But you know what? Jokes aside, it's kind of surreal. I opened up my LinkedIn, or I got a LinkedIn notification this morning, and it was congratulating me for my 6-year anniversary. I don't think LinkedIn knows that I'm not going to be the city clerk as of today. You know, to be honest, I was very active in the community for years before I ran for city clerk, and I had no intention of running for any office But when the opportunity arose and things felt right, I decided to run for office, and nobody really knew what the role would entail since it had just changed from being full-time to part-time. I had some aspirations for what it would be, and some of those goals I'm happy to have accomplished, but some others were probably a bit too naive on my part, and I didn't get to do it in the new model of a part-time clerk. But in the spirit of the rule of threes, and to try to keep this quick, I want to share three things in my few minutes with you all today. The first is why I chose not to run for re-election. The second is some lowlights during my time as clerk. And finally, things that I'm proud to have accomplished. I'll try to keep this brief, Mayor Gilmore. But the first was on why I chose not to run for re-election. And interestingly enough, a lot of people had encouraged me to run for re-election throughout the city, even from people across different political perspectives and leanings. And I find that both interesting and, I take it as a positive sign that people trusted me to do a fair and impartial job in a role in which that is paramount. And several folks expressed concern that this role in the wrong hands could be misused. In fact, some people cast doubt those same doubts on me when I first got into office, saying that I would be the 8th council member. But after serving honorably and fairly for 6 years, I feel that those doubts were all quashed, which led to many folks asking me to run again, but I chose not to run for 3 reasons. The first one was to give more time to my family. It's crazy to believe that when I first came into office, my oldest daughter was as old as my youngest is now. My oldest is nearing 14 years in just a few months, and my youngest is turning 7 in just a few weeks. And it's really time for me to give them that attention. The second reason is I really believe in term limits. It's actually the measure that I proposed and drafted when I served on the 2016 Charter Review Committee. And even if you have a public servant that's amazing and a net benefit to the community, it's still a net benefit to the community to welcome new people who can bring in fresh ideas and perspectives. It's why the highest office in this country also has 2 terms as a limit. And I wish that our Congress and Supreme Courts also had term limits. But when I proposed and championed term limits for Santa Clara, the residents of Santa Clara agreed. And it's why the measure passed with overwhelming success. But the measure inadvertently left out term limits for our police chief and city clerk, and it only applies to our mayor and council. But even though the rule doesn't preclude me from running more terms, I mean, even though I technically haven't served a full 8 years, I still believe in the philosophy of term limits. So I'm walking the walk and terming myself out. And I hope that our future chiefs and clerks keep the spirit alive of letting fresh perspectives in and not sitting in the seat for multiple terms. The final reason I chose not to run for re-election is, interestingly, I feel that as the position of clerk, it's really critical that that position be fair and impartial. And in fact, I felt that it hindered my ability to be active. I shared with friends that prior to being clerk, I was extremely vocal. You all know I would be in almost every council meeting, very opinionated. And a lot of that opinion and speaking up led to a lot of positive changes. But after I was elected as clerk, I had to keep all of those opinions to myself. Even in issues that weren't related to elections, I stayed mum on those. So even to avoid any slightest perception that I was favoring any faction or viewpoint over another. And I'm very proud of all the accomplishments that I've made as clerk, no doubt. But I'm even more proud of the accomplishments I did when I wasn't city clerk. And there were many more of those, from championing Measure R that protects our parks. And I pushed for it to be a 2/3 change, not a simple majority, for Measures P and Q, which instituted term limits, like I talked about, and ensured vacancies only be filled with a supermajority and until the next election. From pioneering live streaming on social media for our city meetings, from being the one who actually drew our 6th district map, which were adopted as the best maps. Those were my drawing or my recommendation. And like Mayor Gilmore mentioned, being the first Muslim American elected, not just in Santa Clara, but in the entire history of the South Bay, and breaking that ceiling, which now there are several, many more. And I hold those accomplishments in high regard. And I did those not as clerk, but as a normal resident. And I think that's good encouragement to anyone who is thinking about getting into public service, that you don't need to be elected to serve and make a positive impact on your community. Real quick, the second thing I wanted to talk about was some lowlights during my time as clerk. And then I'll get to the positive. The first one is, I think you can characterize it as weaponization of information. I had a lot of conversations with the FEPC during my time as clerk. And even in talking with some of their senior attorneys and even the head of enforcement, they said they deal with this all the time. That as soon as an FEPC investigation gets opened, even if it turns out to be untrue, that sometimes that open investigation alone can serve as a weaponized form to smear a candidate. And it's a tough situation to be in as an elections official, because residents do have a right to know um, about the candidates that they may be voting for. And withholding that information or stalling on it can also be seen as a form of the political tipping of scales. And I dealt with that in my time as the elections official, and it was very tough. And if I were to go back and do it differently, um, in the times that I felt that information was weaponized to influence how people choose to vote in the elections, that maybe I would be a little bit more vocal to emphasize that open investigations into individuals don't necessarily mean that the party is guilty. And I dealt with that certainly in my time, and a sincere apology to anyone who I may have maybe not done right by them. And I know that you're watching, Harbir, and I want to say this very publicly and in this open forum, that what you went through wasn't right. And I'm sorry. You are a dedicated public servant, and how you were smeared in the public was shameful. And I could have done better to do right by you. The second low light in my time is that I really think that being in public office is about serving the public and hearing them. And there are many times in which the city refused to agendize issues of concern that were brought up by the community. And this is in spite of sometimes the council sitting for hours, um, going back and forth and bickering, even to say. But when it comes to residents' topics, they say they want to agendize it because they want to save time, which is kind of ridiculous in my opinion. And that's happened many times in my in my years as clerk. And of course, I'm not on the council, and so that's not my call. But I think we need to do something different. We're here to serve the community and here to hear their voices. And so if something is of concern to them, we should agendize it and find a way to do it. And find efficiencies in our meeting otherwise. The most notable and most recent of those cases is when hundreds in the community advocated for the council to consider passing a resolution for a ceasefire in Gaza and a return of the hostages, and the council refused to even consider it. They spent more hours hearing from the public on why they should or shouldn't agendize it rather than just having the actual conversation. And I felt that the excuses that were given were hypocritical, that we don't get involved in international affairs when just a few months prior, the city passed a resolution condemning the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The third and final low light in my time is, and I don't mean to dampen the mood in the room, but the toxicity in City Hall. And I don't think I need to say much about it, but I wish in my role as clerk that I could have figured something out on how to make it better. People floated the idea of me leading an ethics commission as the clerk, but I think at the end of the day, people either have ethics or they don't. And each person has a different perspective on what is or isn't ethical, and no authority, quote unquote, can dictate or police that. It had gotten so toxic, and it took a big toll on my mental health. And nobody in this room, save a couple people that I know are in the room, knew this or know this, that I actually considered resigning around 2 years ago because of the toxicity and the toll that it took on my mental health. And the only people that knew was my wife and two folks that I sought advice from in the city. And the only reason I didn't resign was because I was reminded that the city would need to appoint my position or my vacancy and have a costly election, which would probably be more harmful to the city. So I chose not to resign. To wrap it up and leave on a positive note, the three things that I'm really proud of my time having served on as city clerk. The first one was on transparency, in particular around our dark money ordinance. I'm very proud of the work that I did there, to the point where, you know, as the elections official enforcing some of the rules that we have, you want to make sure that the residents know where money is coming from when it comes to elections issues. And back in 2020 election, there was some dark money that was being spent on our elections, and you know, through some tips that I had received as the elections official, I sent some warning letters to the San Francisco 49ers for failing to register. And interestingly, I sent that warning letter on a Friday, the Friday before the Super Bowl. And on Monday, they had corrected the action, which means they took it seriously. And I'm very proud of having taken that stance and ensuring that our residents know where money is coming from and where it's being spent in our elections. The second moment of pride for me in serving as your city clerk was working very closely with the FPPC, that's the Fair Political Practices Commission, on the Blue PAC case. And that is a case that took the FPPC nearly 5 years up until the statute of limitations for FPPC violations. And I worked very closely with them on providing them with documentation, with witness, testimony, and even testifying during the FEPC hearings on the case, which led to a pretty hefty fine by FEPC standards. And the third and final moment of pride for me in serving your city is that I served with integrity. They say a lot of people go into politics to affect change, but end up changing themselves. And I feel like I was able to affect change and still stay true to who I was. So I want to just thank everyone who supported me into getting into office, who supported me while I was in office. A huge thanks to my wife and kids who put up with me for these many years. I want to thank God for allowing me to serve my community and keep my integrity intact. And I'm not going far. In fact, you might even see more of me now that I'm not the elected clerk. So thank you all. And I wish I was there in person with you to take some photos, but maybe we can get some photos of my head up on the screen.
Thank you, Hassam. We appreciate it. And thank you for your service to the city of Santa Clara. Once you return to Santa Clara, we'll make sure that you get your awards, commendations, and plaques. For those offices that wanted to present Hassam with something, if anybody wants to come forward or say anything, otherwise we'll present them when he gets back. Is there anybody that, I know, Yvonne, you've already done that. So, all right, thank you so much, Hassam. We appreciate it. All right. So next up, for our final outgoing elected official, we have our District 1 Council Member, Kathy Watanabe. Kathy Watanabe has served 8 years on the City Council. In March of 2016, Kathy was appointed, becoming the first council member from the Santa Clara's North Side. Councilmember Watanabe was instrumental in the opening of the Northside Library, served as past president of the Santa Clara Sister Cities Association, and has strengthened international relations and cultural exchanges with our sister cities, and also served as a member of the Board of Library Trustees from 2008 to 2016. Next, Councilmember Watanabe was recently elected to the Santa Clara Unified School District to represent Trustee Area 2, reflecting her ongoing commitment to education and community service. I would now like to invite Councilmember Watanabe to the podium to say a few words about her tenure. Or you can sit there if you like. She's like, no, that was fear on your face I just saw. Please feel free to stay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Gilmore, for that introduction. I appreciate that, and thank you, everybody, for being here this evening. I have to say that this is really hard for me, but at the same time, the one thing that I am going to enjoy going forward is being able to mail my Christmas cards before New Year's Eve, okay? And the second thing is to be able to give my house a good cleaning. It hasn't had a good one in 8 years. So anyway, getting started, first I'd like to thank my husband Carl and my daughter Kaylee for always being there for me. Thank you for understanding when I had to take off for a last-minute meeting or a neighborhood concern, and our poor dog Bear, he isn't here, but if you could have seen the look on his face sometimes as I was walking out the door, and you could just tell he was saying, where the heck is she going now? Thank you to all of our city staff. There's many of them. I see them all sitting in the back there, and we have our city manager and city attorney here. Thank you at all levels for your professionalism and thoughtfulness. I am known to be an independent person, but our staff always goes out of their way to make sure you feel like you are the most important person in the room. And I'm looking at you, Maria. It was unnerving at first, but I am truly spoiled rotten now. As a council person, there are opportunities to serve on committees like transportation, housing, water, and electricity. Our staff has always been available to explain issues, answer questions, attend meetings with me, and always make me look good. Our city has very knowledgeable staff in every department that are well-respected locally, regionally, and nationally. I am always proud that they work for the city of Santa Clara, and I mean that. Also, a big thank you to our police department and our fire department. Our city definitely has the finest and community-oriented public safety. I thank them for always being responsive to issues in District 1, especially on event days at the stadium, and always being responsive to fires that could have done a lot more damage than they did. So thank you for your service. Thank you to the San Francisco Chronicle for their award-winning coverage of the unprecedented influence of the San Francisco 49ers that they have had on our local government, which has impacted Santa Clara. I also want to thank the civil grand jury for bringing to light how our city council was prioritizing the interests of the San Francisco 49ers over the residents. There are many recommendations that the civil grand jury made to ensure that ethics and values will be first and foremost in our local government. These are recommendations that the new administration of this city council will be addressing in the near future. I have been fortunate to represent the most exciting district in Santa Clara. Just this morning, and probably a lot of you heard this too, I learned of Sutter Health's plans to expand their ambulatory care services into District 1. With what a good note to leave office on. I am proud to have approved projects like Mission Point, Tasman East, and related Santa Clara that will make our city a destination location for retail, business, and residents. Once these projects and others are built out, they will provide a sustainable source of revenue to make Santa Clara better. My hope is that some of that revenue will be used to invest in our downtown and expand City Hall. Serving as a council member has been an honor and privilege, especially when representing and advocating for our city locally, statewide, and nationally. I have had the opportunity to meet dignitaries and work on important projects that will impact our future. Serving on NCPA, which is Northern California Power Agency, as I served as an alternate. I have traveled to Sacramento and Washington, D.C. to advocate for public power, which is a big issue in Santa Clara right now. One of my favorite memories will always be coordinating a meeting with then Congressman Adam Schiff and 6 members of NCPA in the U.S. Capitol, in a corner, in a hallway, in between his votes on the floor, to explain in about 5 minutes how we needed his support of a clean energy incentive, which former Senator Dianne Feinstein had been supportive of. I'm proud to say we were successful, and he signed onto a letter to support that incentive. One of the joys and benefits of this job is to be able to use our partnerships to create new ones. And I want to thank, again, Supervisor Susan Ellenberg for helping facilitate that meeting and be able to help us get that meeting and initiative accomplished. So thank you for that. With joys, there are always challenges. And one challenge in particular has been being on the end of a 5-2 vote. But you can still be a winner on a 5-2 vote. One of the best 5-2 votes I have been a part of was against measures A and B, which were to take away the ability of residents to vote for their chief of police and city clerk. The POA, Police Officers Association, residents, Mayor Gilmore, and myself worked hard, and we walked a lot against those two measures. Over 72% of the voters agreed with us. And as a result, tonight, we will have a new chief of police and a new city clerk that the voters chose. Mayor Gilmore, I can't think of anyone else I would have rather been on the end of a 5-2 vote with. We have used political courage, even when the odds weren't in our favor. You are truly a force to be reckoned with, and so many know it, and don't they know it? You and I are winners. I wish you all happy holidays and happy New Year. And with that, I am out of here.
Not yet, not yet. Thank you, Kathy, for your unwavering commitment to the residents of Santa Clara. You've left already. Oh my gosh, don't go far. So we have commendations to present you with. Come this way. And a beautiful gift with lovely, oh, all right. From the City Council, we'll start with this. Commendation of service. Did you sign for yourself? No, you didn't. They left you off. Susan?
Kathy, thank you. I'm for everyone else, I'm having just kind of a quick flashback of meeting you when I was running for the Board of Supervisors and how incredibly helpful and supportive you were to me very early on and consistently. And on behalf of my husband and myself, we both appreciate you so deeply and have watched your career in the council with pride and with affection. We had many wonderful partnership opportunities, particularly during the pandemic. Lots of communication and lots of support from this entire council to help make sure we got first testing and then vaccines to all of our residents. And it has been an absolute pleasure working with you. I look forward to continuing to work with you in your new capacity as a school board member. And I have, on behalf of the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, a fancy commendation for Councilmember Kathy Watanabe for her 8 years of service. I want to note also that I do have one of these for outgoing Clerk Hosam Hogag. Didn't feel right to stand up here without him, but he will get that, and my congratulations to him as well.
Thank you, Patrick, our brand new assembly member. Aarons, please come forward.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council, and hello, Santa Clara community. I'm Patrick Aarons. I'm honored to be about 3 weeks old in representing you in the California State Assembly, and it's just a true honor to be here to recognize such a faithful public servant, point of personal privilege, I'm born and raised in the great city of Santa Clara, and we've gone through a lot of changes in my short lifespan in Santa Clara, and there's so much more work that needs to be done, not only on the council, but on the school board, which I no doubt you will continue to serve well, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the school board as well. As a Santa Clara High School grad and a Booksur Middle School grad, sorry, Mayor Gilmore, I'm looking forward to making sure that we're continuing to champion our public schools, but it's just a point of personal privilege that I could present my very first State Assembly Certificate of Recognition to your service on behalf of the community. It's an honor to represent our mutual constituents, and I'm looking forward to advocating and doing whatever I can to promote the city of Santa Clara and the Santa Clara Unified School District. Congratulations.
Thank you, Assembly Member. Thank you, Kathy. All right, I think we have one more. Oh, yes, I forgot Elizabeth.
Councilmember Watanabe. On behalf of State Senator Dr. Aisha Wahab, we would just like to thank you so much for your 8 years of service to the community, and we look forward to working with you in your capacity on the school board. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. So Kathy, you have to take a seat there. You can't leave till we actually adjourn. Oh, one more. Sorry.
Our mayor, we have one more. Kathy, it's a privilege to be up here with you. Thank you for your years of service. You set an example for us women. The fact that you stay engaged with the community and that you're continuing with your service, it's not a goodbye, it's we'll see you later. And you know, it's a privilege. I grew up in Santa Clara, went to Scotland, Booksur, Santa Clara. And you know, it's a privilege to see you and just your development and just to keep continuing being a leader out there. Even despite the different opinions that everyone might have, I really admire you having the courage to stand up against something or to have like the courage to speak up on something that you believe on. And thank you so much. Congratulations, and thank you for your service once again. Thank you.
Or you can leave them there and grab them later, too. Thank you. Okay, so that concludes our outgoing elected officials, and we are now going to go to the ceremonial oaths administered to our incoming elected officials. So City Clerk Nora Pimentel, would you please call out who will administer each oath of office? And we're going to start with our Chief of Police.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So we'd like to invite to the podium Chief of Police-elect Corey Morgan with his brother Scott Morgan.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Corey Morgan, do solemnly swear
I, Corey Morgan, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
This is the only office that gets a special pin. Nice job.
That was nicely done. We'd like to invite now to the podium City Clerk-elect Bob O'Keefe and Mayor Gilmore.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Robert O'Keefe, do solemnly swear
I, Robert O'Keefe, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
That's it.
We'd like to invite now to the podium Councilmember-elect for District 1, Albert Gonzalez, and his brother, Izacuatli Hector Gonzalez.
Testing. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Albert Gonzalez, do solemnly swear
I, Albert Gonzalez, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call up to the podium Councilmember-elect for District 4, Kevin Park, and his sister Grace.
It's less clear for what we have to do.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kevin N. Park, do solemnly swear
I, Kevin N. Park, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
All right.
I'd like to invite to the podium now Councilmember-elect for Council District 5, Suds Jain, and his son, Anand Jain.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Sudhanshu Jain, do solemnly swear
I, Sudhanshu Jain, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Last but not least, I'd like to invite to the podium Councilmember-elect for Council District 6, Kelly Cox, accompanied by Christian Palekia.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kelly Jean Cox, do solemnly swear
I, Kelly Jean Cox, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservations
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
And after this photo, could I please ask Councilmember Gonzalez and Cox to join us on the dais here? Albert, that means you. Yeah. And Kelly. Thank you for now. Yes. And then, thank you so much for all of that. David, did you need something? Oh. Oh. Thank you. So now I'm going to ask that all of our newly elected officials to say a few words. And we're going to start with our new Chief of Police, Corey Morgan. Please come forward.
think it's symbolic that I'm on this side of the podium. Future meetings, I'll be on the other side speaking on behalf of the people, so that'll be a change. My grandfather had two mottos, the first of which is speak up. I'll mention the second in a bit. So I will speak up and say, I am honored to take command of a prestigious police department within a noble profession. I'm honored to be part of a tremendous city, an all-American city. I serve with the memory and pride of those that have policed before me. And even though I was in the Army, I like to steal a quote from the Navy SEALs. The only easy day was yesterday. So it's time for me to get to work. I look forward to leading the police department in policing the Santa Clara way, which involves a tradition, a standard, and an expectation of excellence. I look forward to being the chief for all of you. The second motto from my grandfather was be brief. And with that, I thank you for sharing this moment with me tonight.
That one's going to get a standing O. There you go. Next, we have our city clerk, Bob O'Keefe. Bob, please come forward.
Thank you, everybody. I'll try to be shorter than Corey was. But I am truly honored and humbled by being elected as city clerk. This is my third run for office here in the city of Santa Clara, and my second for city clerk. I ran in 2018, and I started off every campaign or election the same way, and I would like to start off with some thanks right now. I started off all my elections by first talking to my wife, Lori, and I would like to say thank you very much. You've supported me in all my endeavors here, and when I say things like, hey, what do you think about, I think you know something's coming, and we talked about it. We were happily and are happily retired, and it is going to be a change, so I started by asking Lori. And I was at one of the neighborhood meet and greets when a citizen asked me, he said, what's the first thing you did? And I said, well, I asked permission from my wife to run. And I kind of got a little feedback from that going, you asked permission? And I said, yeah, of course I did, because it affects her and family members of the elected officials, probably even more than the elected official itself. I've seen things in the newspaper and things said, and the families hear that and the families see that. So Lori, thank you for supporting me in all the things that I have done. I've got many family and dear friends here tonight, and there's more even out in the audience. So thank you everybody who supported me in the efforts. I'd like to thank the other candidates who ran with me. Steve Kelly's in the audience, Paul Tachi, Purnima Goopy. Everybody ran hard-fought, clean campaigns, and that's something you don't see in politics much anymore, so I truly appreciate that. As far as city clerk, I was also asked on the campaign trail, what did I want to accomplish in the first 3 months? And my answer was, and it still is today, how I am going to fit into the role of city clerk. I need to fit into the city. The city does not need to fit into me. So I will be working closely with our staff, the assistant city clerk, this entire city clerk's office, the city manager, city attorney, and the entire city council, mayor and council. I've known many of you for many of years. I look forward to the 2 new additions we have to our city council, and I think we can get a lot of good things done working together. So my big things about the office is it's not political, nor it's nonpartisan. I understand a few of the things that Hossam said earlier, and I look forward to working with everybody, and especially the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob. So next we have Councilmember Albert Gonzalez. When you're ready, Albert.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. One of the things I want to say is Just want to shout out to my mom, and my dad couldn't be here because he's ill, but I know he's watching online, and my brother is able to join us as well as my girlfriend. One of the things, as far as 16 years ago when I ran for my school district board, I was an outsider from the board, and people didn't know where I was coming from. I think people had no better understanding of as far as I'm coming from. You have 2 years for a reason, so you can listen and take the input that that you're getting from constituents, and making sure that you make the decisions, with that input in mind. I think what we say on the school district is that it's all about the kids. Obviously, it's here all about the residents, and that's one thing that as we work towards One Santa Clara and move towards making sure that we provide for every one of our residents in every district. Even though I'm from District 1, I look at it as a whole Santa Clara. So definitely, we got to govern in that fashion, govern together, and collaborate. I think that, as far as what election cycles sometimes bring the worst of people, I think that we have to make sure that we let that go by and work together, because I think that's what we need to do here in Santa Clara. We have a great city, and I could tell you just from my work on the school board, working with 3 different cities, Santa Clara is a great city, and we got to make sure that we work together to make sure that we keep it and improve some of the things that we need to be doing. But in saying that, I would just finish by saying, I'm always approachable. I try to be an empathetic listener, so I try to put myself in your shoes. And if you have any questions, anything, my number is going to be out there on the webpage, so you to reach me. So definitely, reach out and give me a call. But definitely, I'm here to serve all Santa Clarans, and we're here to work together. And definitely, anything that happened in the past, we got to move forward and go from there. But thank you for your support. I'm humbled by the last 4 elections that I was able to get elected in this one as well. And I'm here to serve the community of Santa Clara, because they've really enriched and allowed my family and my boys to achieve here in Santa Clara. And one of the last ones here at Santa Clara University, and he'll be graduating in a couple of years as a computer science. But definitely, thank you for the community for supporting our schools. And I still look forward to supporting our schools. This past year, as president of the California School Board Association, I can tell you, I've traveled up and down the states, and there's no place like Santa Clara in the state here. So thank you.
Thank you. Now, next we have Councilmember Kevin Park.
Thank you to everyone that came tonight. I actually wrote things down so I know there's an end, because I could do this all day. I want to thank everyone who supported me in the election, my re-election. I haven't really had time to go out and thank everyone, but it's coming. And the Hanan community, I think few people understand the commitment that elected officials put in. People think it's just the council meetings, but we have subcommittee meetings. There's a lot of things that we have to do. And to be honest, there was a time at which I took every resident email and phone call much more seriously than even my work. And I never ran because I wanted to be on council. For people who know me before I was on council, I ran because I wanted the residents to have a voice. And on council, I feel like I've continued to try to do that. People forget that council members are not the kings and queens, the princes and princesses of the city. We are elected officials. We're civil servants. It is our duty to ensure that people are heard, and it is our duty to amplify their voices, especially the voices that are very hard to hear. It is not our responsibility to replace their voices with our own, and we are not an approval committee. We are not here to say yes or no based on check marks. But we need to understand that the decisions that affect the community require a lot more thought and consideration. Just because something has check marks next to it doesn't mean it's good for the community. It doesn't mean the people want it. And at some point, I think that it's our job to amplify the people's voices. People have asked me what it's like to be part of a council majority, and I honestly don't know, because I'm part of a different minority. We heard about other council members talking about 5-2 losses. I've suffered a lot of 5-2 losses, but more importantly, I've suffered a lot of 6-1 losses on issues that are very important to me. And those votes are some of the proudest votes that I've made. I think that those votes really focused on what the people were saying. And I think the people who listen to the meetings, even when I go on, realize that the reason it takes me a long time to deliberate, the reason it takes me a long time to do things is because I'm trying very hard to take every single person's comments, every single person's inputs, trying to keep them in mind. I want everyone to know that coming here, speaking in front of council is not an easy thing, and for people who are brave enough to do so, that it wasn't in vain and what you said was heard. Anyways, I'll cut this short. I look forward to representing you again on council and serving the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Park. Next, we have Councilmember Jane.
Well, first I want to thank the voters of District 5 for having faith in me and for allowing me to represent them on the City Council for another 4 years. Next, I want to thank my supporters, people that walked precincts with me, took lawn signs, donated to my campaign. It was a lot of work. Finally, I need to thank my wife, Lori, and my son, Anand, for putting up with all my evening absences, as well as all the ranting and raving about long council meetings, large council packets, and negative newspaper and blog postings. I ran 4 years ago, mostly on a climate change and affordable housing agenda. I'm very proud of what I and the rest of the City Council have done in those areas. We now require all new data centers to use 100% renewable carbon-free electricity, and most new buildings in Santa Clara will be all electric with lots of EV chargers. We've also expanded bike storage in multifamily buildings and added many miles of bike lanes. I push for deeper levels of affordability in housing projects, and we are on our way to build an interim supportive housing project to get people off the streets and out of our creeks. But beyond my original agenda, we've had other major successes, like hiring fabulous new city manager and fabulous new city attorney. When I was elected in 2020, the fiscal year 2020 year-end general fund budget showed revenues of $248 million, expenses greater than that of $264 million, which meant a deficit of $16.5 million. We ended up pulling $22.6 million out of our budget stabilization reserve that year. In comparison, now, 4 years later, the fiscal year 2024 year-end general fund budget shows revenues of $297 million, expenses of $292 million, which means a surplus of $5 million. When adding the 49er settlements and FEMA reimbursements, we were able to add $16.2 million to our budget stabilization reserve, which is now up to $70 million. That is only 1% less than our target reserve of 25% after having dipped as low as 15%. The city is now in pretty good financial shape, and we have been able to expand library and senior center hours. We can't do great programs without money. I'm very proud of being able to end controversial and very expensive lawsuits with the 49ers. Relaxing the curfew on weeknight concerts has added millions of dollars to the Stadium Authority, and the settlements make it much easier for that money to flow to the general fund. I originally opposed bringing Levi's Stadium to Santa Clara, and I'm pleased that our settlements promise to bring millions to our general fund in the coming years. For example, the latest Stadium Authority report shows that the debt on the stadium has been reduced by $424 million in just 10 years. Net profit from non-NFL events this last year was $8.3 million. Total revenues minus expenses were $55 million. Most of that total profit went to paying off debt and into stadium demolition reserves per the original contracts with the 49ers, contracts before my time. The latest 49er settlement will put about $20 million into our general fund over this year and next year. This year we received $7.32 million from the settlement, which went into replenishing our general fund reserves. I look forward to another very productive 4 years, and I'm always eager to hear from Santa Clara residents. Thank you for your trust.
And next we have our District 6 Council Member, Kelly Cox.
Is it on? Thank you. This is horrifying. I'm having this terrible moment of imposter syndrome. So thank you for being here with me. And okay. Yeah, you know, I come from a reservation in this little place in Wyoming, and California was this wild pipe dream. You were all beautiful people with golden skin and, you know, Baywatch. And so, to imagine that I would be sitting in this position years later and doing this is just unfathomable to me. And I really want to tell you, I don't take it lightly, because there's something kind of miraculous about what the universe does in moments like this. And so I want to thank my kids. My son couldn't be here tonight, not that he would want to be here tonight. He's 18 in boxing, that's his dream. But my daughter Gigi is here, and some of the really important women in my life are here right now. And as a single mom, I'll tell you the campaign, wow, talk about imposter syndrome, nothing like a campaign to tell you who you are not. But my best friend died a year ago on Saturday. And what a testament to what women can do as a community. I'm not gonna get on my feminist kick right now, but I love the women in my life who have made me a stronger person and told me that I don't need somebody else to do this. Like, we can do this. And in that, like, opening up my heart, really great people have come into my life. And I don't have this fantastic resume like a lot of you have to talk about what I've done and all I can do. I just have this ability to tell you I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna bust my ass to get you to trust me. I'm a cowgirl at my roots, and so work ethic means everything: transparency, accountability. And accountability is huge, because I'm gonna mess up. And when you sit in this seat, who am I supposed to be and what am I gonna do? And I can't tell you, here's my plan and this is my agenda, because oh my gosh, I'm freaking out right now, and this is a learning journey for me too, but I'm gonna be real. And I will always be honest with you. I will always be myself. I will always be grateful for the people out there who saw something in me and said, hey, give this a shot. And I really do hope to bridge gaps between our council right now, but I'll be hard to work with, for sure. And that's okay, right? So, I want us to do what's right for our people, because this was never something that I looked at like, ooh, city council fancy. That is not what I value. These aren't the positions I look up to. Not saying that I don't, but hard work and ethics are so much more important to me than status. And so for the people out there, Hot Dog Howie and Tracy and Safna and Kirk Vartan and my people who just walked with me, the Portuguese community that supported me, the police that I love, you're the people who matter in this. And yeah, there you are. Hey. And so you're welcome. So that's just, I just, Dana, hi. I just love you guys. I'm sorry I'm the emotional twit up here right now. I'm gonna get real hardcore soon, but this is just amazing to me, and I'm just so grateful, and I really do not take this lightly. I have such a tremendous amount to learn, but I'm gonna go in full on, and just my Washington Open community, I feel like I need to, it's like a stupid Oscar speech, like, it's not a big deal. So I'm saying too much now. I'm the last one. Everybody wants me to shut up so we can leave. So, but Santa Clara, thank you. I really hope that at the end of 4 years, I leave here with the applaud that like Kathy Watanabe had going out of this, and that I have done well by you. So thanks.
And the Oscar goes to Councilmember Cox. All right. Thank you. That's really a hard act to follow, I would say. But I wanted to make one more introduction. I see we have Assemblymember Alex Lee in the audience. Alex, could you just stand up so everyone can see you? Thank you. Alex left us for another district, but we don't want to talk about that. Thanks, Al. Yeah, it's his now. Anyways, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Also, I just wanted to say a little couple of sentences about Measure I, because I really want to sincerely thank the residents of Santa Clara for their trust and support in passing Measure I, our $400 million infrastructure bond. Yeah. It passed by almost 70%, which was phenomenal for us. This is a critical investment that will upgrade our aging infrastructure, enhance our public safety, and improve the quality of life for all of us in Santa Clara. But the vote really demonstrates our shared commitment to a stronger, safer, and more sustainable Santa Clara. So thank you so much to the voters who had faith in us to vote for Measure I. I appreciate it. So I didn't want this evening to go past without mentioning a thank you for that. And so now we are going to move on to public presentations. So far I have 5 or 6. Just a reminder for public presentations, and these are for items that are not on the agenda, that you're the only thing holding us up between public presentation and cupcakes. So just keep that in mind. But seriously, we're going to start with Brian Darby. Brian, are you here? Followed by Satish Chandra. Guys, we're not finished yet, so if you want to speak, you can go out.
Thank you, Mayor, and
Welcome,
congratulations to everybody. I was going to come and give a big speech, but
Excuse me, wait a minute. Could we if you're going to speak outside, we're still in the meeting. Thank you.
we tell stories. That's how we get things done, really, from one generation to the next. It's Wright Brothers Day. I don't know if you know that. That was 1906, I think it was, or 1908. And now one of our objects has flown out of the solar system less than 150 years later. Between the inception of fire and the wheel were tens of thousands of years. As the world gets more complex, being able to not compartmentalize, but being able to deal with it has gotten a lot harder. One of the documents, or two of them, the Constitution of the United States, everybody took an oath on today, or has taken an oath. I've got a pocket Constitution, and it starts with "We the people." And that's all of us. And that's because people ran up on beaches, people were on transports. For all our veterans, we wouldn't be here. It's not a foregone conclusion that this idea in democracy was going to work. It was not. And I believe it's being challenged more now than it ever has in our history. And we should really take that seriously. We really should. It's a solemn, scary thing. And I hope that you take these and read them. I spend a lot of time reading them. But the one thing that really makes me understand the sacrifice are parents and care providers for people with disabilities. The chance of serving Santa Clara Unified School District through thick and thin and through some very interesting board meetings. But we are all just one little event away from being a person with a severe disability. One little event. We're very frail creatures, but we're very amazing creatures. And I just want to thank you all for the efforts you've done. And these are for you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you. That's okay. Satish, followed by Murali. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to the new City Council members. Congratulations to Chief, Corey, City Clerk, Bob. If I'm missing anybody, sorry. So I want to mention here one of the critical thing is thank Kathy. I want to sincerely thank you for your exceptional service on the Santa Clara City Council for last 8 years. Your dedication to protecting neighbors, such as your advocacy for the 10 p.m. curfew at the Levi's Stadium, has made a real difference in our community. Your work on the issues like noise mitigation, expanding library hours, and addressing street racing has greatly improved the quality of life for all the residents. I also deeply appreciate your leadership during the pandemic, ensuring the city's financial preparedness and supporting residents through food programs and rebates. Your compassion, particularly in addressing the needs of individuals like Darius Brown, highlights your genuine care for our community. Not only him, but for me, you're like elder sister to me. You have been a mentor. You have been a great coach, dedicated. I mean, say I'm whatever right now is talking here is just because of you. I really appreciate it. The whole, District 1 and others will miss you, Kathy, dearly. And I wish you all the best being part of the school board. You have set the path in the first 2016 elections with a huge landslide, like single majority more than 50%. And in 2020, with meek $6,000, you beat $1 million of the special interest money. And right now you see 81% landslide victory. Amazing, Kathy. And thank you very much for your service. And I would like to specially mention Pat Nicolai, Chief. Chief, you are still beacon of Santa Clara Police Department. Wherever you are retiring, I wish you all the best and great work. And it's great to work with you, serve as Chief Advisory Committee. Thank you so much. And especially I want to mention Kelly. Kelly, you have been amazing. Great friend. You were like a phoenix. You fought, you won. All cheers to you. And Bob, good luck to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Satish. Okay. Next, Murali, followed by Howard. Welcome. Welcome to Santa Clara.
Thank you, Mayor. That's an inside joke.
Yes.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council members. I am Murali Srinivasan, a Council member and Vice Mayor of Sunnyvale, speaking on my own behalf. Thank you for the opportunity to address the Council. I would like to extend my appreciation for the outgoing Council member for her dedicated service to the city of Santa Clara. I hope she will cherish your newfound privacy and then enjoy the extra time you have in your life. Congratulations to the returning council members and the new council member. I wish the new council a great success. Our cities are separated by a narrow, thin road. Your success reflects on our success also. I look forward to building friendship, exchanging ideas, and exploring solutions to make our cities and the region better. Happy holidays to the Council and the City of Santa Clara. I wish you all a fabulous 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you. Howard, followed by Chris, followed by Michael. Go ahead, Howard.
Hello, the new people. I'm Howard, the hot dog dude. You guys have been up there for a while. You all know me. I come in, throw sticks and stones at you every now and then. It's all about politics. We all love each other. Building a better city. I hope you guys can get back to where you can put the banners back up that says Santa Clara, America's city. Been a long time since I've seen that. and it should be America's city. And congratulations to Kelly. You doubled them. That's good. You threw that bum out, convicted felon, the real convicted felon. No pardons for him, no pity for him. Anyway, thanks to Kathy, you know, when she talked about going out for her neighbors and different things like that, about 3 years ago, Kathy came out, left her family on Christmas Eve. That's dedication to a city when you leave your family on Christmas Eve to go out to find out what this guy who sells hot dogs in the middle of nowhere is talking about, that he's being undercut by illegal vendors that don't bother buying a city business license or anything. Thankfully, the city attorney and the city manager worked really hard with the police department to try to quash it. Still a lot more work to do. These last 2 games is like a Christmas come early for me. It's the first time in years that I made 2 games without no illegal vendors stealing my business away from me. First time in 2 years. That's something big. That's a Christmas present. And back to Kathy and her family who sacrificed so much for the city. And I hope in 2 years that Kathy and her family decide to send her back out and run her as mayor. And for 2026, Watanabe comes back and runs for mayor. She has done so much for the city and fights tooth and nail for the city. And that's all the time I got, so I got to shut up now. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. Michael, Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Followed by Michael. Welcome.
Hi, Chris Stampolis, longtime resident. And first, I wanted just to congratulate our newly elected and re-elected council members, but also to point out that we now have the most ethnically diverse city council in the 172-year history of Santa Fe. And, you know, I think it's important to mention that because, you know, when people come to this chamber for the very first time, you know, whether they're young people or visitors, what they see first is this wall to the right. Those of us involved in politics, we know we're always kind of, our attention's up here, but new people, they see what's here on the wall. And what I wanted to ask from you tonight, as you're looking ahead toward legacies, because that's the one nice thing when you start your brand new term, when you're kind of, you know, the whole city's getting a chance to start fresh right now. It's been 52 years since Coimbra, Portugal was added on as a sister city. It's been 38 years since we added Izumo, and now a full 12 years since we added Limerick. It's only 28 years until we celebrate our bicentennial. That means today's middle schoolers are going to barely be 40 when we're having the bicentennial celebration. And what I'd like to encourage us is, as we know that politics are going to make things, you know, always a little bit bumpy. Nobody expects unanimity out of any city council, and certainly not here with the issues that you're all going to have to deal with. But I am hopeful that maybe there could be unanimity to realize that we're not just an international city, but the eyes of the world are on Santa Clara. 1 year and a month from today, we've got a Super Bowl, and we're hosting the World Cup. It's not just dreams. We are going to be looked at by the entire world yet again. And I'd like to encourage you as the city council to nudge, to push, to use whatever, you know, effort you can as individuals and especially as a team. Let's expand beyond just the 3 we have here so that the young people who walk in those doors can see themselves. We have a Koreatown strip that took a long time to get some consensus to have. We should have a city from Korea. We should have a city from India, probably one of our largest growing, both in terms of business and as well as residents and people who are leading here in our community. It's time for a city from India. And it's absolutely time for a city from Mexico. We need to represent our Latino community, not just simply by electing a person, and congratulations, Albert, it's great to see you there, but to realize that the legacy that the council can have will be that down the road, people walk in that door and they feel that much more welcomed. I'm not saying to limit just to those three, but if after the next 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, we haven't added on more, maybe we haven't totally harvested where we can come together as a united team. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you for hearing me and wish you a wonderful holiday.
Just for your information, we just signed a Friendship City MOU with Icheon, South Korea. So Michael, come forward, please, followed by Yamini. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to, first off, congratulate all the new as well as returning council members. My name is Michael Tsai. For those who don't know me, feels like a lifetime ago, I served on the Milpitas School Board, one city over, and then was the runner-up for city council. Continued to stay involved with the local community, and I really want to say, people don't understand how hard it is to serve in elected office, and this type of public service kind of puts us in a position with unique experiences as well as to face the challenges for the future. I want to say in our coming time, I think between Milpitas and Santa Clara, we can expand on existing partnerships as well as build new ones, especially in transportation, because and housing, because these are going to take regional cooperation. I'm also looking at the intersection of AI and government, because I am back to high tech a lot, and there's going to be so many changes coming down the pipeline that I think our government really needs to step up and accelerate in terms of getting ahead of the curve. And I want to say for Albert Gonzalez, we served kind of overlapping time in school board work. He was always very involved with the CSBA, and I've never seen someone, it was like I would go to somewhere and I'll be like, Albert's probably there, isn't he? And then he was there because he was just everywhere. And I have a hard time thinking of someone more prolific in local government and running around. I also want to congratulate especially Suds Jane and Kevin Park. You ran strong campaigns that were really just people-focused. I did have the honor of getting to know Kevin from an incident some years ago when he was not being allowed to speak. But I think it's just so important that we continue to speak up no matter the situation, and be a voice for everybody. Be a voice of reason, because in this room, in these chambers, sometimes there's just so many different opinions, disagreements, but the point of our democracy is that we can solve them. Even if we disagree, that we can disagree civilly. I think there's still so much work ahead to be done. And if anyone in this city wants an outside perspective or is looking for help with anything, my door is open in Milpitas, and I really hope we can have a better partnership between our respective communities. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Next, we have Yamini. Please come forward, followed by Golden. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Congratulations. I would say namaste. We say greetings in Hindi. Wanted to congratulate you all. I'm from city of Fremont, and we recently saw the election of Raj Salwan. That's another epic thing. But I'm here to actually support all of you. But Kevin is our very dear friend from many, many years ago. And seeing him re-elected shows me that, yes, his voice is being heard. I mean, people want to hear what he wants to say. But I'm here to congratulate all of you, and it's an honor to attend this kind of ceremony here. So thank you, congratulate to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Golden, and then I don't have anyone after that, so cupcakes are close. Golden.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council members and Vice Mayor. My name is Golden Shao. I'm a representative from the Silicon Valley Young Dems, and I represent both the Young Dems in Silicon Valley and the East Bay. I'm an East Bay resident, and I attend school in this area. I attend De Anza College and somehow partial Mission College. I'm here to speak because I strongly want to congratulate all of you guys who are newly elected and re-elected as our council members. And are really proud that you took a lot of outstanding achievements, you took your time, and sacrificed a lot of time you could spend on other stuff. And you worked very hard to keep Santa Clara safe and to make the city great, to help people thrive. And I love to congratulate that you got reelected, and we're proud to work with you guys once again. As on behalf of Silicon Valley Young Dems, we love to work with you as well and have you attend our events, and we'll invite you and be one of our speakers. And we really love the work that you do and how you can serve our community. And thank you for your service, and we hope you can continue to serve our community and move on great. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Golden. Do we have any speakers online, City Clerk? No? All right. Now, can I ask for a motion to adjourn and second?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
So we will have to do a roll call, City Clerk, for the adjournment.
Maker of the motion was Councilmember Jane, and seconded by Kevin. Okay, thank you. All right. Councilmember Shahal?
Yes.
Councilmember Hardy?
Yes.
Councilmember Park?
Yes.
Councilmember Jane?
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Yes.
And Councilmember Cox?
Yes.
And Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Thank you.
And that passes unanimously. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Yeah, we have short meeting. Thank you very much, sir.